We are live.
We are live. Imtishan is here from Motoring Middle East. James Pikeway just hanging out, and we are talking cars for the next hour.
We are talking cars for the next hour,
It's
yes.
CarTalk on Podaholiks.
Yeah.
Podaholiks.com or Podaholiks with a K on all of the socials. And
Why did you make such a difficult name? Couldn't you have gone with just cars, guys and cars, like guys
you
and
want to have
dolls?
something catchy so that you can have lots of cool stuff.
Podaholiks, it just sounds like you're trying too hard. So we are back for 2019.
What kind of a slam is that? It's like, that's a backhander. We've been talking for a minute.
It takes you a second.
2019.
It takes you a second and you're just like, yeah.
I thought an interesting one sent you a message from ARN, actually, forwarded you on.
Yes, our former radio hosts.
Our former radio host.
Lovely people, I should say that.
I caught this thing because there I am looking at a Nissan Patrol that one of the police forces has. I think it's Sharjah. And I think it was the Sharjah group. I don't think it was Dubai.
I really wish we could put pictures up right now,
Right.
but yeah.
But literally, nice drone footage of the Dune Rescue Force that they have. And
That's Abu Dhabi.
it's Abu Dhabi?
I think I saw the video.
Okay, you're right.
It's the Abu Dhabi police, and they got a Nissan Patrol they use for it's blue, right?
Right.
As Abu Dhabi colors. Yeah, it's a desert recovery team. I'm not entirely sure about the Arabic. Maybe somebody can correct me, but they use it for Leva rescues.
Well, and that's what it was. Beautiful shot of Leva, and instantly I thought of you because you're always out there with the boys.
Well, we're going to be out there next week for the fun drive, right?
Are you doing it?
Yep. Just got my number, 595. So if you see me on the fun drive, say hello.
Well, it should be hard to miss. You're
That's
driving
true. I'm pretty sure
a red Ram with tricked out rims.
Yeah.
And it's
Chicano,
all
very Chicano, very Latino with the gold wheels. But yeah,
Can you make the air suspension do the Miami Rock?
I wish I could.
It's got to be a way. You've got air suspension.
No, I haven't. I got steel suspension. After all these years, how do you think that I have air suspension?
I thought for sure you would have put an air suspension in this thing.
No. Why? What good would that be in the desert?
Range Rover does it. Apparently they work good
Wow.
in the desert, those machines.
You know, I got an interesting weekend. I took, do you remember Neville?
Yes.
From FCA. Took him and his family out for a drive, and he's normally, and he's going to love this, because he normally thinks I'm a reckless off-road driver.
But he's got a Wrangler.
He's got a Wrangler, took him into the high dunes, came back, kids loving it, just loving it. Father of the year. So that was a nice little thing for me to do. And I taught somebody how to drive off-road, because he was going to the fun drive, and I asked him what his experience was, and he said, zero, babkis nada, nothing. And I said, this is not the time to learn in Leva, the very first drive.
And this fun drive's in Liwa this time around,
Fun drive is
which
very-
opens up a great question as we're talking about Neville and the fact that you took the family out. Where do you learn how to drive off-road? Like, just by going and getting experience, but where does someone like me go? I mean, I years
You
ago,
can go anywhere,
I went to
but obviously-
Belhassa actually, and Belhassa had an off-road.
They will teach you the basics, but the best
Yeah.
thing you can do is join an off-road club, somebody that will give you some sort of basic tuition, whatever. The one thing I learned, as I found, teaching is hard. Because I was right seating, I was sitting in the right seat and talking. People don't listen.
Yeah.
They just don't learn anything. I don't know how pilots learn anything. Because you cannot learn when somebody's talking to you as you're doing it. Because your brain is not set up to anticipate things. It's set up to deal with stuff happening immediately, but you're receiving instruction from this year, you're trying to go. If you just say, go over that dune, it's fine. They don't believe you.
Yeah.
Even though you're like, I know we're there. But if you take a car, put the car in front of him and just say, follow that car, he's totally fine. Because he's immediately like, okay, it's like teaching. If you're on the chalkboard, I still use chalkboards?
Yep.
And you just go, yeah, okay, I'm doing this. They'll follow along.
So that's exactly when I took the off-road lessons at Belhassa. They had a lead vehicle. They'd stop, we'd go through what we're going to do, they'd give us a show, and then we got into our own vehicles and we followed the lead.
The biggest problem is confidence. You get into the desert, most people shit themselves, basically, straight away. It's really scary. Even the smallest dunes, people just freak out. Yeah. And we were all like that once. But it can go one of two ways. Either you become really confident or you become incredibly scared and never change and think that everything's terrifying. And there's nothing wrong with being scared. You have to understand that it's not a scary place as long as you're prepared and you understand what the car will do. Drive to the conditions, drive to your ability to start with. So they get a LR4, and a LR4 is a really, really good car for the desert, actually. I took it for a drive. I was shocked. Bone stock car, nothing fancy, 19-inch wheels. Just put in off-road mode, lift it up a couple of inches, just went straight up. Just automatic. You put it in sand mode, it does everything for you.
Really?
So I'd buy one. It's great. Really good.
If I was going to try and get an LR4 today, what would I be looking at?
Oh, this is the cash section of the program.
Yeah. How much is this going to cost me?
What kind of year of LR4 are you looking for? They are a very good.
So this is the thing, because there's quite a spectrum.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be looking for an LR4, I want one that's going to have some life left in the engine, that's not going to cost me a whole bunch in repairs, but I don't mind spending $5,000 to $8,000 a year.
So if you're looking at like 2010, 2011, those are the V8s, which are really good. I don't think the previous V6 was that great. So the V8s went up to about 13. So if you can find one, great buy. Very well loaded, nice options. They'll run you about 100,000.
Wow.
Second-hand.
That's a 2013.
2000. Well, they're brand new. They were like 250. So they're not cheap cars.
So but they're not depreciating.
They're not depreciating that badly. I mean, you can get them for under 100 depending on mileage, because they're family cars. That's the good thing. Find a car that's been owned by a family, because they
have a legitimate third row.
Yeah. Oh, it's proper third row. I mean, it's a little cramped, but it's usable, unlike a lot of third rows. It's better than a Land Cruiser third row, for example, even though it's a smaller vehicle, because the packaging is
Well, that's it. It looks small, but it has that great back window. It's
called the opera seating, stadium seating, where each row sits higher than the preceding row.
Which is why when you look at the cabin, it sort of raises as it's...
Because now the new Discovery does that, but it doesn't actually have... it has a fake bump to emulate that LR4. But actually, there's no opera windows, and you don't actually sit higher. So it's just like a weird style thing. But it is a very good... the Discovery in the side? Yeah, it works. But if the best one was... Those cars would be sort of... 2011, 12, 8 years old. So they're probably out of warranty. And you don't want Land Rover that's out of warranty.
So this is a problem. So if you're looking for an LR4, you're probably going to get one out of warranty. So you're going to...
Yeah, there are plenty of good garages, Capital Auto Repair, Max, whatever, that'll take care of it. But it'll be more expensive than running a Japanese car. Again, it depends on how the car's been looked after. If it's been serviced on time, and if it's been used, LR4s are probably not a good buy.
Do people tend, in your opinion, to take LR4s off-road anyway?
No.
To me, they're the Spinny's run machine.
LR4s do get used, Land Rover Club, but they're a very small minority. Most Land Rovers, they used to go off-road. LR3, yes, because that was when people still use these cars to go off-road. Now the accepted wisdom is, let's take an FJ, let's take a Wrangler, let's take something that looks like it's ready to go. But the LR4 is just fine. And I was shocked. I was taking this car, I was chucking it off dunes, going sideways, and thought, hang on, this thing is... the bones are there. The car knows what to do. You take a car, sometimes you just don't know what to do in the sand. There are a couple of cars which I won't mention. Where you take
mention them. Which one? Like what?
I really shouldn't. But let's just say that you take them into the sand, you're like, it just wants to leave straight away. It is not set up right. But the LR4 has the computers and everything makes total sense. So the best buy would be like a 14.
Okay.
The engine was changed to a supercharged V6. That's when I was driving. I was a little bit like, V6.
Supercharged?
It's fine.
Okay.
It's the same engine as the LR, as the Discovery, and plenty of poke, plenty of power. Good car, good buy, and you still have a bit of warranty left, and I would recommend extending the warranty. It's a great family car that just happens to be able to do any kind of desert we want out here. Now, granted, you're not going to be scaling those dunes there like the Burj Khalifa dunes. You know,
right.
you need to
So if you're out on a fun drive,
be brave.
You're gonna be working that machine pretty hard.
So tips of fun drive are very simple. Keep distance, lots of distance.
Well, so
be very aware.
So let's jump back to the fun drive. So you're going to be doing the fun drive this weekend. You said what was your number? 555?
595. 595. Great number.
595.
Yeah.
It's in Liwa.
Yeah.
How many cars are we talking about? Do you figure? Well,
I think
how many
something
4x4s
like
will be out there?
800 cars.
800, that's a lot.
That's too many.
Who designed this route? Do you know who?
There was a guy, I can say who it is. The chief marshal who designed it was a guy called John Spiller. And he used to be a co-driver for, I think, Bin Sulayem in the late 80s or 90s. So he's been around the block. He knows these dunes inside and out. But Liwa is a difficult course. The first 5 stages are pretty much designed to ease you into the driving. But the moment we cross like 2 p.m., things start getting serious. The idea is that if you make it to the last few stages, you get to do the remainder. No. So they cut off at 2. If you don't make it there by 2, go straight to the camp and have the belly dancers. Watch the belly dancers and have something to eat.
Yeah. The folks who are going to be doing the fun drive, the interesting thing about the Gulf News Fun Drive is you'll get people like yourself.
Have you ever done it?
No.
Never interested to do it?
No.
That's interesting. Why?
Yeah, too many people.
Too many people. And you're notably antisocial.
And I just figure I'd rather go out on a situation where I go out with a club and maybe there's 8 or 10 vehicles or...
So it's a lack of control and too many variables.
Too many variables, too many people, too much going on. And this is where this question's leading, is that you got people like yourself who are great and you've got people who would be like me who are...
Competent.
You've been out in the desert.
You can handle yourself, yeah.
But then you've got people who've never been out in the desert. And I remember a friend who went and did his first trip with the family, in an Isuzu Trooper.
Good car for this sort of thing, yeah.
And he came back with front bumper off, quarter panel, one of them missing, back bumper off.
Good guy. I mean, that would have put him off going to the desert for life.
Yeah. And so how does the fun drive account for all these people?
It doesn't. They very clearly say at the start, you're on your own.
You're on your own.
You're on your own. There's no responsibility. And the best thing you can do is stick to the track. The good thing that John Spiller did, and I know him, he's a nice chap, what he's brought is a sense of order to the thing. Because before it was like you had to read this rule book. And the road book is kind of like designed like a rally style book. So it's got little tulip diagrams and it's got these little like markings. Most people don't know how to do that. They'll just follow the car in front, and the car in front will take them off a ditch because he's running like race suspension. He doesn't care. So often I've just seen...
Do they have marshals who are driving along with...
I think about almost 100 marshals are going to be sweeping. So they come behind you and make sure that everybody sort of exits the area. But it's very hard. People follow people because there are lots of people like me who just go off, do whatever you want. And you follow them, and if you don't know what they're doing...
Well, this is it. I always equate driving off-road, and I've said this over and over again, with whitewater rafting. And if you've ever been whitewater rafting, if you've ever been because the same thing, you got to read the sand. And if you're whitewater rafting and you follow the boat in front of you, you're a goner. Because I don't know how many times I've been whitewater rafting and I'm behind someone in there.
So what's the trick to whitewater rafting?
Much like sand, you're reading the flow.
Conditions, yeah.
You're reading the conditions. You're looking for where the eddies are. You're looking for where the.
So do you follow the most risky part or do you follow the gentlest part?
Well, it depends what kind of ride you want.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure you hit the wave.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're following someone and they've misread it and you're just following right behind them, it's just like following someone on the fun drive.
I had a thing in Thailand, similar thing.
You hit a hole and the last thing you want to do.
I was smacked in the head by a branch because it was river rafting. And then the guy behind me, not so lucky, not only was he knocked out of the boat, the entire boat hit a bump that we had just swerved to avoid, and he was flipped over. And you can't really stop and go back and pick people up. So they had to just float downstream, get back into the boat. It was not that bad as routes go. But
and probably because they were following you. So they said, he's got the good line, we'll follow him.
We didn't know what we would do. It was my first whitewater raft thing. I was just in the back. It was great. I was being constantly kicked in the leg by this French woman.
Nice.
And often
telling you to paddle harder?
No, she was supposed to paddle on the left side. I was supposed to paddle on the right side. I was the only one paddling on the right side because she just gave up. Tourists. She was just trying not to crap herself. It was frightening for a first timer. So that's the fun drive in a nutshell. Don't follow people who are doing something very scary. And if you get stuck, that's okay. If you get stuck, just stop. However, be careful, look around, get out of
the etiquette? Because some people are following bumper to bumper. So when you get stuck,
stupid. Yeah, it's very stupid.
Do you get out and put a cone out or something? Or
the best thing you can do, put your bonnet up so people know that there's something wrong with the car. Maybe put your hazards on. Obviously, you're not moving. You can't tell when and where you're going to get stuck. Nobody can. The most common way people get stuck, following somebody on a dune, and it's like a slightly sideways angle, and they go and suddenly they just brake because they're like, I don't know what's going to happen. That's the single worst thing you can do, is you brake, because then the car just catches in the sand and stays stuck, and then it could roll over. Yeah. Secondly, they try to steer uphill because they see the tracks going uphill. You can't follow that track. If you didn't come in with the right amount of speed, you're not going to be able to slingshot your way up onto that dune. So there's nothing you can really do. So my advice would be, if you're stopped, just stay in the car. A lot of families I've seen just get out and have a picnic in the middle of all these like 5 or 6 cars.
I see those photos.
I'm like, what's wrong with you people? You're going to get run over. Because people just sit and start playing and I'm like, we stopped here. I'm like, it's a live road.
You see, this is why I always say 8, 5, 6, 4, nice number of vehicles, 800, going to be fun, but that's a lot of vehicles.
That's why I enjoy it, because it's so chaotic. It's so unpredictable. Fast old timers, it's a chance to catch up with people. A lot of people.
It's a meeting.
It's a social thing.
It's a meetup.
I like people who are fresh and new because then I go up to them and I help them out. If I have the time, I'll stop and I'll help people. They're often panicking.
You ever thought of becoming a marshal yourself?
It's tricky to get in. It's a little bit of a clique. It's not easy to get into the fun drive marshals. I have investigated it. But they do a good job. You know what? I'd rather have more fun being a participant than being somebody who makes the rules. Because you got to stand all day. You got to be rescuing people, and it's tiring, man. It's hard work. But typically, you just we find somebody stuck. They're sitting in the car, and they're all clenching every handle with white knuckles, thinking, "What am I going to do?" So it's nice. People are great. People are always grateful.
Just relax. Take it easy. Enjoy.
Yeah. The thing is to enjoy it. It's not set up to be dangerous. It's not set up to be. People drive dangerously. That's life. That's the roads. So you just got to watch yourself. Take it easy. If you can't do it, no shame in not doing it. But it is your car, and if you break it, nobody's gonna put a couple of dirhams into the till, I think that's enough about fun drive. What else are we talking about?
The interesting thing that I saw this weekend is a Land Cruiser getting pulled over on Kuwait Street by Dubai.
Get pulled over?
Go figure.
Yeah.
By Dubai police in an undercover Ford Flex, and it had the strobe lights blinking off the thing. I thought, I've never seen the police driving Ford Flexes, but that goes right back to I figure they listen to our show.
Flexes?
Ford Flex.
Man, that is undercover if I ever saw it. Nobody will notice a Flex.
That's what I said. And
what color was it?
Silver.
They must have picked it up with the Altair sale.
Who knows?
We were at the Grand Sale. Those things were going cheap.
But
75,000.
It didn't look like a police car, except that it had those strobes going, and I thought, wow.
That's clever. That's sneaky. You used to be able to say that all Sunnies were CID cars.
They still use a lot of those, though.
Yeah, but now it's anything. It's anything and everything. And rightfully so. Rightfully so.
It's
so
when
what does he people do pulled over for? No idea. You didn't stop and ask?
I did.
You didn't stop and go like, hi, I'm a friendly Canadian. I just like to know what's going on for my benefit.
But don't you always wonder when you see someone getting pulled over?
And that's why we have tailbacks. That is literally why we have tailbacks. Everybody's wondering and they're all, stop it.
They're looking to see who's driving that thing. Just keep going.
I admit, I am a flash hole because when I see people slowing down, I'm hitting the flag and like, keep moving. Let the policemen get on with their job. Stop gawking.
Yeah.
But you know what? I thought it was a UAE thing.
No, it's worldwide.
When I was in LA, same thing. I saw people, I was like, I felt a bit better after that. I thought that we were just really badly behaved drivers. But actually, no, you get all over the world.
Yeah.
The only place you don't get is Australia because nobody goes faster than 60 there. And if they do, they die. They get shot.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Well, it might as well be. It's pretty draconian, the speed laws. And it's going to come here as well. The reason I bring up Australia is because that is the kind of people who are advising us on road safety. And
the Aussies. Aussies and Kiwis.
It's very speed camera dependent.
Okay.
And
well, we've got a lot of those.
We've got a lot of those now. It's great for revenue. Let's just not beat around the bush. It's great for revenue. How does it help the speed thing? Well, the numbers are good. I think people are driving more safely now.
Yeah.
Because there are idiots, but it seems like they're less. That's how I feel.
Either I'm not on the road where they're using them any longer, or they just stopped using those pop-up speed cams.
Yeah, mobile speed cameras.
I don't see
them so much because they've got those little fixed installations by the side of the road that have like a cinder block holding down the battery or whatever. Those ones are there for longer, and those don't. You just come in once a week and you duck up. They don't even connect to Wi-Fi. I think they just come in there. You download all the tickets and then you find people. Yeah. Whereas the mobile cameras, you got to go and park a car.
But there used to be a lot of them.
It's cheaper to buy those in bulk.
Yeah.
And you keep them there for like a month on small roads. So just drive slowly.
Yeah.
But you and me both have cars that don't go fast.
No.
So this solves the problem.
It's only when the limits are like an 80 and you're doing 90 and then you hit that, or you realize,
You've got a 20 buffer in Dubai. You don't have any buffer in Abu Dhabi. So the moment you cross that border, the thing to remember is the sign is the speed. The sign is the speed.
But I like that idea. Yeah. I like the idea of this.
I think that, I was against it. Yeah. I'm now down with it. I think, you know what, it just creates less confusion because there's a little differential of traffic. Right. Thomas Edelman from Road Safety UAE is always banging on and on about this. Yeah. And as somebody like a long time in the UAE, I'm like, well, we shouldn't change, but maybe we should. Yeah. Maybe we should. Do you think it'll improve road safety?
Yes. Well, I think I've noticed it already on Sheikh Zayed Road. Yeah. And Mohammed bin Zayed Road for sure.
Less differential.
People, when it was 120 and you could go up to 140, people would be flying down that road. Now I see people actually doing 100. It's 110 is the limit. I see people doing 100. I see people going a little bit slower across the lanes, and they tend to be over in the far three on the right that are going slower, but the speed is much, much slower. I think
there are a few speed merchants still in the leftmost lane. But it's not as bad as it used to be. I think in the morning it's pretty bad. In the morning, because everybody's in a rush to get to. I don't know why they're in a rush.
They're angry.
But everybody's
left late.
I mean, it's like a couple of inches between cars. Yeah. I really avoid driving at night. I'm very fortunate I don't have to be there at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I had one yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm on.
This is a bitching podcast.
It is. It's all we're doing is we're complaining.
Yeah.
I'm heading over by Festival City. There's 3 lanes. They're empty, and there's a FJ Cruiser right up my back end.
Up your chuff, as
Shazad would say. And so I was thinking, I'm going to slam on the brakes and just give this guy a little bit of a jolt.
Don't brake.
No, but I didn't. So what I did is I just moved it over to the left. Oh, it was a police car. I just moved over from the slow lane where this guy wants to go.
Maybe
faster.
he needed to get to the exit lane.
I
But
don't know.
I think at the end of the day,
all I know is,
story.
well, then I thought maybe he was running my plates. You never know what they're doing, right?
yeah, they can run your plates now. There is a video going around showing them doing mobile speed detection, which is I don't know is even possible to this point. So
I wasn't sure what he's doing, but you know,
go slowly. You know what's really brought my speed down? Podcasts.
Okay.
Like this one.
Because you're listening to a
I'm
podcast.
listening to a conversation. Your brain can only do so much.
Yeah.
So it's very calming. Because you just sit on the road, you're like, you know what? I can only listen to these 2 people or 3 people talking. I don't need to be going in a hurry because my brain's focused on that. And you find that you don't gain or lose much time, but you travel in a slower lane, especially if you're doing a long journey or even a short journey. It's great because it just takes your mind off the frustration that makes you drive. What makes you drive fast? What makes it? It's a cocktail of factors, but I think...
Like what, I mean, we know what it is.
Yeah.
You're late.
Yeah.
You're late.
Yeah. I'm late all the time. But now I arrive relaxed.
You've got AC/DC playing, so you're driving.
Do you think music makes you drive faster?
Yeah, I think so.
Music makes me run faster.
I think depending on what music you're listening to, you can be...
Okay.
I think some people also drive fast because they use driving as a stress release. So they've come from work, they've just been chewed out by
I feel targeted by that. I use driving as a stress release, but I use it to like listen to some music or podcasts, and I just kind of cruise. But the kind
what
of
does Thomas Edelman say about this? We need to get him on.
We actually, I don't know. We should actually get him on here.
But get him on.
I think Mr. Edelman probably would say that it's all of the above.
Yeah.
But what's the fix for that? I mean, you have a car that just makes you happy.
That's it. I think just realizing that it doesn't matter. And in fact, my wife, here's a great example. My wife and I today drove to literally the same place because we both work close to each other. So she's at the French school, I'm outside university. We're driving the same route. She's driving faster than I am. We arrive at the same time. So, ends up passing me and I can see her moving.
Is she weaving through traffic?
Yeah, pretty much. We hit same set of lights, she was ahead of me.
Yeah.
We literally came she was pulling into her place and I drove by at the same time. So the weaving in, the driving a little faster, accomplished nothing.
How many times have we said that to people and yet they don't listen? Because they enjoy it. I think it's an ego thing. I think it's a power thing.
I think if you're accelerating, slowing down and braking, accelerating, you're using more fuel.
It's more wear and tear on your car.
Absolutely.
That matters. I mean, I'm very proud of this. Since 2013, I have not changed a single set of brake pads.
That's pretty good.
But that's because I probably keep settling my cars. But I just went for my 75,000 kilometer service on the truck.
Wow,
no,
75,000 already?
I should have changed it at 70, but I've been lazy. It happens. And they're like, no, your brakes are fine. And I'm like, how is this possible? It's a huge modified truck. You just drive sensibly. Just drive sensibly. Anticipate traffic flows. Watch. Listen, and don't be in a hurry. It doesn't make a difference. You're late. But you're dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You hearing anyone talk about deals, Ramadan?
Deal market's very good. Right now, I'm just waiting to see.
We had the Ramadan stuff way back.
Ramadan
stuff's gone. Coming up, but it's coming up again. People must, the car dealers got to be planning for that. But we got shopping festival right now.
Yeah, but I think at the moment there's a lot of confusion. It was not a great year for car dealers. Let's be honest. It was not a great year for car dealers. So from their point of view, they're looking for new ways to get people into cars. And I think, let me put a bold statement out there. Boring cars are not going to sell. If your product is not exciting, you can discount till the cows come home. It's not going to make a difference.
The Lexus UX, saw them over at Festival City.
That was a launch that, a very interesting launch that Shazad went to. It was underground in a car park at the IFC. It was very strange, very quirky. That's basically, I'm not even sure what that is. I think that's that's that Toyota thing. It's the little one, the CHR, but in Lexus form, the UX. It's a really tiny car.
Yeah, it's small.
It's
great fuel economy, 18.6 liters.
It's a great, now you remind me, I put that on my list of cars to drive this year. You know what's on my list of cars to drive? Is nothing at the moment. But actually one person's already called me up.
I think it's 18.6 kilometers to a liter or something. It was some ridiculous number if you're driving like we drive.
You know what? It should sell because it's Lexus sort of quality and all of that at a package at a price people can afford.
So you know the thing is, I looked at it, and so I didn't even get too close. I was just walking by them, and it was, as you were saying, it was something about the look that made me go, huh? And what did I do? I looked at the body paneling, So I looked at a black one and a white one. So I actually went and took a little bit closer look.
You zoomed,
I
enhanced,
zoomed in.
as we say in CSI, enhanced.
I enhanced in.
Yeah.
First thing I do, I'm looking, oh, this is a Lexus. Look at the back, oh, and then looked at the fuel economy, okay, this is kind of cool. Looked in, it's a little bit small. And then what's the next thing I did? I looked at the front. It has that Lexus grille.
The Predator face,
Yep.
which I can't do faces, but yes, it's an.
And I said, okay, this is kind of cool. But you know what turned me off? And again, I haven't even been in it, but you look at the driver's compartment, and it had, and this is just the show guys. Like, you know, these were obviously brand new cars right out of the showroom, and they hadn't prepped them. So there's still plastic wrapping on.
But these are cars on the showroom floor, or?
I don't know. These were at the Festival City Mall, sitting there.
Or they're probably just a stock being prepped. So you got to be a little fair. I mean, that's
But I wasn't sure about these little buttons, little dials on the dash.
Yeah.
I just
Oh,
went,
I don't know. I actually haven't seen the car. I have no
so
idea
I
what
have
you're
no idea what they are. And I
Do
didn't.
you have a picture of it? You
Yeah,
pull it up.
I'll pull it up. You keep talking.
So yes, I am a big fan of this car that you are talking about. I've never seen before. I really should know these things. Oh, that's quite cool.
Yeah, let's see if let's go for some images here.
UX200.
Yeah,
This looks like a Lexus.
It does.
This looks like a Lexus.
That's it.
This is not a bad thing though. It looks quite smart.
No, it's. I mean, look at the front. It's beautiful.
What's the motor on this thing? Let's just pull up a page and see what the motor is. I'm pretty sure it's a CHR. So it's like a 1.2, 1.5, 150,000 with VAT. That is not cheap.
bad.
That is not cheap.
But you're buying a Lexus. It's not
You're
like
buying
you're,
a Lexus, but yeah, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one right now. People are like, well, Lexus should never really be a cheap car. In all fairness, Lexus is Lexus.
Well, the problem.
At least they have product. I think Infiniti. I have yet to drive the QX50.
I don't see so many Infinities around anymore. I mean, I see some of the higher end stuff.
They need to find an image and a voice and
But
a
I
place.
just don't think people want to own an Infinity. I don't know why.
That's a bit harsh.
I
I
don't see them.
In the old days, they were like Japanese BMW. Everybody's always the Japanese. Honda used to be the Japanese BMW, but I would say Infiniti really are. Because Honda, I've driven a bunch of Hondas lately, and they're nice. They're great cars. But in the old days, actually now they're much better because they're much more powerful motors. But in the old days, you had to really ring them out. Now Shahzad would say, "Oh yeah, this is the best thing in the world." But a lot of normal people trying to get to work are not attacking the Nürburgring. They just want to get to the office.
Yeah.
So you want a car that's nice and torquey, and the Nissans and the Infinitis have always been like that. But Infiniti, the QX50 was quite a decent little car. I drove it. I'm not crazy about the CVT, but then who is? But other than that, it was a fine car. A really nice interior. It had this aquamarine sort of strip through it like Aquaman. Did you see Aquaman?
Yes.
What did you think?
Oh, that was excellent.
I kind of was in your native area, which is water.
I
thought it wasn't bad.
I thought it was a good story.
They finally got their stuff together.
I think there was enough CGI in it to.
He was a little silly in places.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Nicole Kidman looks better now than she does in the de-aging bits, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's odd.
She's looked very odd. Poor Tamara Morrison, who went from being like a dude, like a lumberjack living on this thing, to being like this little old man. And Nicole Kidman looks exactly. I feel sorry for him a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was silly. It was silly in a good way.
Yeah. No, it was a good.
People are looking for stuff to distract them, and their car should distract them. Here's a thought for you.
Okay.
How much does having a characterful car matter versus having a car with gadgets?
I think the character.
You'd give up gadgets. You'd give up CarPlay.
Yeah.
Heated bum seats.
Yeah.
Bum massagers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. You want the gadgets?
I don't know. I kind of like the gadgets. Like I like bear cars that I don't know if I could live with bear cars. You know. Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up this page now. I'm having bad internet today.
Yeah.
Audi debuting interactive backseat VR technology with Marvel Avengers.
We just got reviews of it. Actually, if you go on the YouTube page, you'll see we reviewed the Q8. And great car, backseat VR. See, you know what? Everybody's trying to make cars that are full of stuff to distract you from driving.
I mean, this is, and I think the one that they were playing with this in, they're doing this at CES, is in the back of an e-tron, which makes sense. It's the electric vehicle.
That's not a real car. That's a pure concept car. Yeah. So at the moment, I don't know. I think there is one that drives, but it's not. I just left Audi, and they were like, "Yeah, it's not a real car."
Really?
So, yeah, it's just a prototype. So I mean, they have one that's running and driving, but it's not by any means engineered yet. So we're still a ways off. But it's the best looking electric car, the e-tron GT. I think it looks amazing.
But what a great idea that you start putting VR stuff into your cars.
You want people just doing the Stevie Wonder, looking around and getting sick in
the kids who are driving.
As
nuts.
it is, your body is being told that the car is moving. You can't see anything. Now you're clamping their eyes shut like a hooded falcon.
Yes.
How the hell are they going to be
They're
able to
already
not
sitting there watching
They're
videos
gonna
and stuff.
It's supposed to be a vomit comet all the way to like city center.
Come on.
Well, they're just sitting there doing that. They're just sitting there looking around, and the car's moving, and then in 1 minute it's like, "Daddy, Daddy," that's projector in the back of your head. That's what
I still think it'd be cool. Let's as soon as we start using it, as soon as we start getting it out there, it's going to come a point where they're going to refine all these things and make it. But I think VR is getting better. I don't think as many people.
You're a VR guy. I'm not a VR guy, but I have enjoyed when I've played with it.
Yeah.
But it never me. You know who uses it? Consultants. Business consultants, when they're building like buildings or whatever, they use it to build these virtual fly-throughs of all these new skyscrapers. Yeah. And of course, we're talking about a project that's worth like $100 billion. A couple of $100,000 to build a VR simulation of the place makes perfect sense. It's a good idea to like visualize. If you want somebody who's very important to you and lots of money, to visualize what he's going to be spending his money on makes total sense. I don't know about these. We've been doing virtual showrooms since the 90s. 360 views. Who the hell uses 360 views on cars when they're in those configurators? Nobody. They just want to go, how much is it? How much is it? Oh, I do. How much expensive can I make this Nissan Micra? Can I make it like $1 million?
I disagree. I like those 360 views. I like to be able to see what the whole thing's going to look like. I'm totally into it.
Well, at least somebody is.
but then, I didn't like the Evoque, so.
How do you not like the Evoque?
I still don't.
Did you try the Jaguar E-Pace?
No.
That's quite a nice car. It's also an Evoque, but just Jaguar Land Rover makes such nice cars. I don't know.
They do drive nice.
They're in a bit of bother at the moment with all this Brexit stuff. They're having a tough time.
It's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, also a lot of their cars are hugely diesel-based, so they don't have a lot of options when it comes to engines in Europe. I believe the Middle East is kind of propping them up a bit. I think the sales out here are so strong that it's helping Europe, but I don't know. Globally, they're in a tough spot. They have some great products. They put a lot of money into R&D, and new Defender is coming. And every time we do this podcast, we're like, when is the Defender coming?
When's the Defender?
And every time I ask, they're like, soon-ish, maybe. We were supposed to see it in November.
Yeah. My thing with Jag is they seem to put all of their design and thought into the interior, into the tech. The exterior just looks.
Jaguar Land Rover, because I think they're pretty smart-looking cars.
I find the Jags pretty deadly.
Deadly boring. I mean, the XC is quite nice.
It's kind of like, remember the E-Type?
It's a long time ago. I don't really. I wasn't around in 1963, but.
No. Then there was the new version of it that was kind of that.
No, there was the F-Type. You're thinking of the F-Type.
Yeah, there was the
There was no second E-Type.
There was an E-Type.
There was the XJS. There was the F-Type, but there was never a.
Are you sure?
There was never a follow-up.
Back in the 2003, that one that looked like the Ford Taurus.
XK. You're thinking of the XK Grand Tourer. That's a bigger car, but yeah, it's not really a sports car.
It was terrible looking though.
It drove beautifully though.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They drive nice. And
great feeling car,
but I just think they could do more with.
That was just the most like aristocratic car you could turn up in. You turn up in there and you immediately feel slightly posh, and like you probably run out on your bank bill or whatever.
Well, there was someone who lived by you that had that beautiful looking Jaguar.
Still have it. Still drive it.
That is a beautiful looking car.
That is a late 90s V8. And it is a miracle. Every time that car starts up, I'm like, wow, okay, there is a God.
To me, that is the Jag that I want to own.
An ancient one for 20,000 dirhams.
Yeah.
If that.
And if it would start, I'd be laughing, but at least it has.
Do you know what though? So I was in that one, like a Sovereign, which is a very nice one.
There we go. Sovereigns.
And you know what? You get into the car and you're like, there's that smell of that leather and all that wood, and it's such a nice thing. And then you remember that he spent like 18,000 dirhams just fixing things on it. But if I was stupid rich, I'd have one of these. I'd have a silly, slightly old car. I mean, you show up in like a Mercedes or a Maybach or whatever, nobody notices.
Well, it's like Dr. Omar.
Yes, it is like Dr. Omar, who runs around in his Bentleys and his old cars.
And I don't know how many he's got at a time, but
more than one.
Oh, he's got plenty.
Yeah.
And I remember, I haven't talked to Omar in quite a while, but he just used to laugh and he said, one's always in the garage. Like one of them is always.
That is not helping people go into classic cars. One's always broken is not a good way.
It's always getting fixed. Something's always being done to one of them.
Yeah.
I think he always had 4 or 5 sitting in the driveway. So
beautiful cars though.
Yeah.
And you get into those, especially 90s Bentleys. New ones are fine, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
The thing is, the new ones are good. Like they're sorted, they're fast, they handle, they've got CarPlay, and the new Conti GT by all accounts is really good. But the old ones have this like British drawing room, continental manner kind of feel to them. They're nice. They're so like, we don't care about styling. Yeah. We have all these like weird buttons in places. They make no sense.
So what do you want to drive this year? What's the plan? If you could, what do you want to get into this month? We're in January.
So we're finishing up on the online version of what's happening. So my top cars already. I want to drive the new Bronco, but it's not going to come out this year. I want to drive the new Supra. It's probably not going to get here by this year. I know what I will drive. I'm going to talk to the Genesis people, and they got that G70.
Really?
That is the car I am most interested in driving.
Really?
Because I drove the Stinger last year, and I thought this is the best.
That was amazing.
Best saloon I've driven in years. Did you drive it?
No, I drove it in with you.
What? Oh, you came with me that day.
That was a nice drive.
A shaggy little menace that car was. It was a Kia that felt like a BMW. It had the attitude of somebody who is like, on the fast track at work.
It's the one that had those big, thick seats.
It is the most requested car I have for a test drive. People just were calling me up and like, I don't normally talk about cars, but I want to have a sit in this one. And everybody said to me, I had some really, really rich people who came up to me and like, if that had a different badge, I'd buy it straight away.
I think that was.
But the Genesis looks really good. It's also shorter.
Ooh.
It's shorter. So I think it's going to be a really strong little car when it comes out. Other than that, Gladiator is not coming to the market this year. It might, but maybe towards the end of the year.
Neville will let us know.
Neville will let us know. Defender, hopefully, when that comes out. But just generally, I think there's lots of really interesting smaller brands that I'm hoping come out there. Your Chinese stuff. I want to drive more of the Chinese stuff.
Okay.
I think they were some of the most. Last year I drove the MG GS, ZS, whatever. It was like the small crossover. It was a nice little car. For the amount of money they were not charging, it was so cheap. It was like 50K or whatever. It was good. The Geely was a good car. I think more regular cars. I think there's a new Corolla coming. There's a new RAV4 coming. Okay. Quite excited about
We got to
them.
get into both of those.
Yeah. New CRV is getting updated with I think the turbo motors this year. These are the sort of cars that people
do we need the CRV with the turbo motor?
CRVs are like the backbone of a decent family. You may not like it, but that car is so good that it just earns your respect. I took 120 kilos of luggage to the airport. Who needs a pickup? You just need a CRV. That's insane. Plus 5 people. Yeah. I mean, it was vastly overloaded. Didn't struggle. Just got on with the business. So that's my thing. What are you looking forward to in the 2% of battery or 1% of battery left?
I want to get into any of the Lincolns again, especially. That would be a lot of fun. I want to get back into some Volkswagen. Haven't done the GTI in a while, and I'd love to get into that Bronco if it was coming out.
Well, let's end the online bit. Let's see if I can do that. But thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. I guess we could wrap up our podcast.
Well, we can carry on for a bit. How much longer topic was there?
We got a little bit more to go.
Well, let's just run through it. What have you got?
Well, we've got the whole Shelby GR1 that this thing might.
What a sexy looking car.
It is.
Dead sexy. But again, it's kind of super performance are kind of kit cars, so they build them like kit cars. So I wouldn't depend on them coming out anytime soon. Never come into this market unless you private import. What's next?
There's just some of the little points that have been fired out there, just talking about some fun facts that the Autoblog guys had put out about.
With Autoblog guys, I know them quite well.
CX-5s.
We hosted one of them in Dubai. They're the same CES now. You know that? They've got 3 editors and a video guy.
Wow. So half of Mazda's sales were of CX-5s.
I wonder if that corresponds to this market. I don't think so, because I think people are buying CX-9. But I haven't driven CX-9. I really need to get a hold of CX-9 because these Mazdas are such good cars, man. Underrated in this market.
Well, that's it.
They've changed their marketing tack a little bit. I hope it works.
I'm seeing a few more Mazdas, and I'm just impressed. They just look.
To own a
good.
Mazda is to be hooked on Mazdas. I want to own a Mazda 3 because the new one looks Alpha-esque. Looks beautiful, beautiful.
What about the Miata? Would you get back into one?
I had my Miata. I don't know if I'd do another one, but when I'm old and infirm, maybe.
Because I keep looking at it and I keep wondering, do they have any test models here? Because I'd love to just.
I'm sure it's a lovely car, but it's the wrong place. If you were in the back roads of LA or in Canada, you'd have somewhere to enjoy it. Out here, and the highways and the dust and frankly, straight highways.
You're talking to the wrong guy. I've got no windows in the Jeep right now.
Yeah, but I mean, your car is like a truck. A truck
Right.
is basically enjoyable at any speed. That kind of car wants to like dive into corners. It wants to explore back roads. To put it on a highway is not its natural place. It just gets knocked around by all the wind buffeting from all these trucks.
Yeah.
I never felt unsafe in my Miata, even though I was nearly run over by a container truck. I had a massive accident and nearly died. It was fixed very well, so I shall give it the benefit of the doubt. But the car is, I don't think necessarily suited to this market, which makes great pain to say that. But if you have in America and Europe, you'd love a Mazda. You know, in the UK, you'd love a Mazda. This is the right environment.
I'm seeing some new Peugeots out as well.
That's one person.
And a couple of Renaults. I was just seeing, some of the funky colors they've got with the Renault, whatever it is that people are driving around in. And both of those vehicles are looking kind of nice.
They are quite nice. Again, I want to go off the book because you know what I'm tired of?
No.
And I keep saying this, Porsches. Every other day there's a new 911, GT4, RS,
I think
RS.
it's where I live and where I drive. And we're close to where I work at inside university is close to where the Porsche guys are. Porsche.
Porsche.
But I don't see a lot of them. I don't see a lot of them on the road.
No, they don't sell that many in Dubai. They sell a reasonable amount, but the Cayenne sells much more. Now the problem is, as a brand, they are running the risk of overexposure. They are putting out too many cars, too many models. I know why they do it, because when you're a high-end company now, this is your model. Aston Martin figured this. Aston Martin were near death 5 years ago. But they turned it around by doing lots and lots of these special edition models. Oh, you can only have 5 of these. We'll charge you $1 million. Everybody just ran towards it and bought it. And it's basically pump and dump the prices. So that way, Aston's going to be doing an IPO soon. And it makes total sense. Yeah. But that's how you do with the high end of it. They're not concerned about the Vantage or the DB. All the DB11 is selling quite well. But their whole thing is like, we do these special editions. And I'm tired of it. Because it's targeting the Instagram crowd. Yeah. It's not targeting people who want to drive cars. Because all these people buy this car, cover it in bubble wrap, and wait for the price to go up. They're not interested in driving the car.
Have you seen the prices for a Mitsubishi Pajero right now? $84,500 base model.
That is nuts, man. That's a lot of car for 84 grand.
That's a brand new vehicle. Stock.
What is that doing to your resale value?
That's what I'm saying. 84,000.
Yeah.
That's base model. But for many people, a base model is going to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best Pajero to buy is the one in the middle. So you got a few options. I don't think they even have CarPlay. Do you have the brochure there?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to see. King of the Road for 35 years. That it is. It has not changed much in 35 years.
Well, that's the other thing, and I think that's what just makes them work is that they haven't really changed much.
But good cars. I'm bored of Mitsubishis though. Mitsubishi, come on, do a new car.
It's the same thing. So you're getting what you get. So there's no. I'm looking at their list of offers and stuff. Anyway, let's wrap up the show.
I feel like we still got that winter blues. We're still like January. Right. We gotta shake it off, man. We gotta shake it off.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some of the new stuff that's out there, some of the things that you've been looking at. Of course, if people got questions, as always, fire.
Actually, let's talk. Something we just put up on ME yesterday. Do you see that famous cars commercial that Walmart did? So you gotta follow Motoring Middle East.
motoringme.com.
Yeah, motoringme.com. Look at the famous cars commercial that Walmart did. Well, it's basically right during the Golden Globes, obviously the film thing. And they had all these film cars coming to Walmart, the idea being that Walmart is now doing grocery pickups.
Okay.
So you go online, you use the app and you say, I need like 5 kilos of cucumbers. That's a lot of cucumbers. But you need stuff. And they're not dropping it off at your house. You go there, they roll out there, put it in the back of your car, and that's it, you go home.
Nice.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah.
But what's nice is they used all these film cars. They used Ecto-1 from the Ghostbusters, they used a Batmobile, they used a Mystery Machine from Scooby-Doo, and of course they used a DeLorean at the very end, because it is the best one. But it was an amazing...
He who owns one.
Oh, he who owns one. But it is an amazing commercial, because there was more love for the cars in that 1 minute 39 seconds than in any Fast and the Furious movie, apart from the very first one. There's so much love for the cars. The cars are very much the star of it, and they have their own personalities. It's incredible. You don't get that from car companies anymore. They're trying to get you into this mobility solution. They're trying to get you into electric cars. They're trying to force you like castor oil down your throat, like you have to do these things, right? But they don't tell you why you should love these cars. Because if you don't love the car, chuck it away. Cell phone. Nobody's chucking their iPhones away now, right? because they last a long time. That's why iPhone sales are dropping, and cars last a long time. But these cars, you want them.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to talk about next week. We're talking about the cars you want, and the cars you're not, the car that you get into, and it doesn't matter that it's 10 years old, and you go, I just love this car.
You might have like Hawaiian stickers on the side of it.
MotoringMiddleEast.com is where you can find you. Also go on to motoringme _
_ on Twitter, but just follow us on Instagram. You'll see most of our stuff on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube.
And YouTube.
Yeah.
Easy. Imtishan.
Where do we find you?
James ED _me, and of course Podaholiks with a K. Instagram, Twitter.
It's Polish.
Yeah, it's Polish.
It's a Polish podcast.
Polish. YouTube, because we post up video as well.
Yeah, I'm going to into Vladislav now.
Yeah, we're going to do that all again. So next week, thank you very much.
Thank
and
you.
of course, well,
what are we doing?
Boom! Let's do that again. Boom!
I'm like a budget Keanu Reeves.
That's CarTalk. Did you see that movie he's in, by the way?
Which one?
Yeah, it's terrible. Don't watch it.
Replicas.